Mm, 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 mm. Good morning. Just trying to make sure that I am live, live. I know if you're like, well, what kind of live are you, right? Like, I don't know. Like, am I live where I'm supposed to be? So just one moment, please. Okay. I see me. I see me. Hello. Good morning. It's your girl. It's Crystal. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, my good people. Good morning. Ah, it's so beautiful outside today. Look at here. It's bright. But you see all this brightness around me. It's bright. So good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm not going to hold you long. Listen, I wanted to come on like I told you I would. I will be showing up this week. Yes, I will. I'll be just showing up. Like 2024, you're going to see a lot more of me. 2024, just get ready. Get ready. You're going to see a whole lot of Crystal. Okay. I know I was a little bit like quiet, but I want to say for the last 2 years, a little quiet, but that has all just come to an end. Okay. So all of those disruptions, distractions, and all of that stuff, we push past all of that any other way. So listen, I'm on really quickly because I want to talk to you as it says, purpose does not come without disruption. Purpose does not come without disruption. So I was thinking about that, in my new book, I wrote about that in my new book, No More Residue, Volume 2, Girls See the New You. I wrote about that because that is such that is what people need to know, that the only way that to purpose there has to be disruption sometimes. And when I just interview and talk to a lot of people, there is always this disruption that God has, that he allows or either he brings forth to put you in alignment with your purpose, right? So there is this interruption, disruption that happens, and it really is bringing you in alignment with where God wants you to be. So I was sharing about that in my new book, like that disruption when Verizon Wireless made the announcement when I used to live in New York. And it's so funny because I was in the retail stores, right? So I used to work in the retail stores in White Plains, New York. And I was there and I loved everything about it. And I was actually going for a leadership position. So my management team was like, listen, we want you to go to the call center. We want you to go to corporate and we want you to get some experience back there, like in their customer service. I said, okay, so let me do that. Let me, sometime when you are elevating, you have to take lateral moves in order for you to get to the next move. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes when you are elevating, you have to take lateral moves. Even though I did get paid, I got an increase in pay and different things like that. But it was still in the space of, I didn't get the leadership title just yet. So they had asked me, it was like, this was a recommendation from my management team, and my manager, he really took favor to me. I found favor with him. So when we talk about, the Bible says, where we find favor with man and with God, I found favor from the very beginning, from when I first started working with Verizon Wireless. And so this was the direction that I was being advised to go into. But I know now today that even though that was the recommendation, God has started putting in my heart, like, okay, I put you in this space. And like I said, I was new. I didn't even know God. Like this was like I was a new babe in Christ. I think I had just met God, like, God always knew me, but I was like 1 year, I had just got saved, maybe about 3 years into my career. So anyway, he had put it on my heart. I have always been a ambitious, high achieving woman. And when the first time I walked in there, I got the job within 2 months. So I started out as a temporary employee with Verizon Wireless, well, Bell Atlantic at that time. I started out with them that way. And then eventually I wound up taking on, I was started in customer service in the retail stores, and then I went on to do inventory control specialist. I started running their high stores, which was like Westchester Mall, Route 59, Nanuet, Palisades. I was running their inventory for multiple locations at one time. And they saw that. I even got recognition, through the Northeast area for my work, with the company. Always I was like, you know what, this is a good place and I'm going to really try to advance my career here. I just saw that it was a really good place that you could really develop yourself. And my ultimate goal was either two roles I wanted to be in, which was overtraining and also regional director for the store locations, because I like being in the field. I like being in people's faces. I like the whole interaction, so, but that's not what happened. So what happened was this desire that God was placing on my heart was to, do something else, like go, okay, take it up a little bit further. I want you to go into management now. And it was like, okay, so my director had gave me this pathway to take. But today, now I know that that all happened for a reason. I wasn't in a corporate no more than not even 2 years when Verizon Wireless made the announcement that they were gonna be relocating my position, our department, down to Wilmington, North Carolina. So when I tell you there is disruption, there has to be some disruption in order to for you to get into your purpose. It really is. And a lot of times we resist it. We resist the disruption, but the disruption is actually like it's your GPS. It's actually putting you on the road to where you need to be to do what it is that God is calling you to do. Because sometimes it's not that you're not in alignment, it's actually just moving you into alignment. Come on, Camille. How are you? So it's moving you into alignment to do the thing that God has called you to do. And when I would never be here. I'm telling you, I could really just honestly, I believe with the heart of my heart of hearts, I don't think that New York was the place for me to do what it is that I do now. Like, I can go back there now and do it, but I needed to come out of that place. Because I was like really into my, I had a relationship going on. I had all these different things. I was still shaking and moving and partying and still doing my thing. I wasn't getting high anymore. I wasn't doing that, but I was still like really pretty much like shaking and moving. I had two jobs. I didn't just have Verizon. I used to be a residential counselor too. A lot of people don't know that. I've been counseling and coaching for a long time. Okay. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and get my daggone degree and just get a degree with this thing for real, for real. But that's the truth of the matter. So, when I moved to Wilmington, it was a place of isolation, and that's actually one of the chapters in our book. No More Residue, Volume 2, Girls See the New You. It's the power of I, the power of isolation, right? So I had to be isolated. And a lot of me and my co-authors, it's so funny, I didn't recognize it at the very beginning. But as I read the chapters, once they finished writing their chapters and I read the whole book, I was like, and speaking to them, I said, oh my gosh, like all of us had to be relocated from our place. God literally relocated all of us from different states into like places where we knew nobody. One thing, because one thing I know about me and my co-authors, right? We have like personalities, like we can make friends, we can connect with people like this, we can make it happen. It's like, look at here, you you gonna really need to hide me somewhere where there ain't nobody, because your girl gonna make some connections, okay? But I needed that isolation. So how many of you are right now probably feeling like this disruption stirring up in you? How many of you are feeling that way? And I'm just here to tell you this morning, the disruption, the uncomfortability, uncomfortabilityness. Okay, because that's like a tongue twister. is is like a sign. It's your indication that God has more for you. Now you might not know exactly what it is, but he is going to reveal it to you. Or maybe you are seeing something. What I'm going to suggest to you is that you yield to it. Yield to it. Because if you were like me, your girl was resisting it. I resisted it a lot. I resisted it a lot. I was like, "Oh, like this, like God, you can't be calling." Like it was one thing for me to move and leave New York. I was like, "Okay, I'm good with that because guess what? I can come back and forth." I There was never a sign of becoming a speaker. There was never a sign of doing any coaching and being an entrepreneur. There was never any sign. Like I said, I really just felt that the opportunity that I was being given was my career opportunity to advance my career. So if moving to North Carolina was going to help me do that, then I was willing to do exactly that. Come on, you said, I love this. You said, oh my gosh, what do you say? I love what you're doing. It's the transparency for me. Come on, Camille. Listen, you gotta be you gotta be transparent. You gotta be okay with that. And you said you could also feel the power of elevation is near. Yes. Yes. So tell me in the comment really quick, how do you feel like when you say that? Just drop that in the chat for me. And Alicia, you said you feel very uncomfortable. Well, these are actual signs that there is something more God is stirring up in you. God is stirring something up in you. Okay. So I just want you to know that that's what's being taken place. Like God is really stirring that up in you. All right. So when moving to North Carolina, that was not a problem for me. It really wasn't a big problem. Um, it was like, okay, now I got to get you into this space so I can show you what's in you. I got to get you into this space so I can show you what I put in you. So when I tell you the disruption is coming with purpose, I'm not speaking just by something that I heard. I'm speaking from what I know. And it's not just one time, it's been several times. This is like God's, like a pattern for God. The disruption. When Jesus came and entered the earth, he disrupted things. He did disrupted the way they were teaching, the way the people were living. He disrupted everything. He disrupted the way they were thinking. He disrupted things. So it is a pattern of God to disrupt us. However, in the disruption, there's purpose. There's purpose in the disruption. Okay. So I want you to, so the reason why I'm here this morning, if you are struggling or if you are maybe, being disrupted and you think that this something's wrong, it's not anything wrong. It's not anything wrong. It's not at all. You said I allowed gear of fear to stop you from moving. I'm ready and I just don't know where yet. So trust me, it's going to come. It's going to come. Dover, you said, true. Yes, I'm telling you, the disruption is showing you something. The thing is, most of the time we're resisting it because it's actually taking us out of our comfortability and making us uncomfortable. So that's what's happening. But purpose is trying to emerge right now. Purpose is emerging up out of you. Purpose is like, so that's what I was saying the other day, that seed, there's a seed of purpose. And God, no matter, the seed of purpose can endure anything that we have faced, whether it was the trauma as children, you know whatever it might have been. I mean, there's so much trauma, there's so many different things that we go through. I'll be sitting here making a whole list of that. But the purpose seed can endure and it waits. It's like inside of us. And I just, as I'm just using this right here, me as an example, like inside your body, like it's planted so deep, hidden on the inside of us. It's just waiting for its appointed time. And soon as God speaks the word, it will be ignited and turned on, and it's absolutely nothing you could do about it. But I want you to understand this morning that if you are feeling a disruption, that there is purpose in that. So now what you want to do is start seeking that out. What is this? What is this? Because like I said, I resisted it for a very long time because I'm pretty sure that you are seeing something. What I mean by that, and like I said, I talk about it in my book, is that the very first thing I kept hearing this whisper, I kept seeing hosting this empowerment workshop. I was like, oh my gosh, like what is this thing? Like that's why I say in New York, it could not have been done. First of all, I think the environment that I lived in, not saying I lived in some ranky environment. It's just that he just made everything just perfect for me. So where I lived in Wilmington, North Carolina, when I left out of my condo and I moved into like these luxury apartments, they had the ideal clubhouse that had like everything there, pool and all of that stuff where I can house events. And it was included in my rent. So I didn't have to do but so much. And I started out that way. And I want to, that's a whole nother message, but I'll come back to that. Maybe I'll speak about that right now. The small beginnings. I did that started on a Friday night. And these ladies started looking forward to this. But that vision that he kept showing me, I kept seeing this thing until one day I kept talking about it so much to only one of my girlfriends at the time. And she was like, girl, she just came to my house. And she would normally come over, whatever the case may be. And she was like, we was in my room as I had my desk and stuff. And she just sat down at my desk. Y'all gonna read about it in the book. I'm telling you. So matter of fact, you just go ahead and just order order your book, Girl See the New You. It's right there, .com. Girl See the New You. But she came and she sat down at my desk and she said, okay, how do you want this event to look? Because you've been talking about it, Crystal, because I'm telling you, God was just showing me. He just kept showing me that, when God speaks, the word turns into images, it turns into visualization. And I kept seeing it. I was like, I don't know. It's like it's just a space. And I'm talking to these women and I'm having such real conversations, because I started to realize a lot of women that, was struggling with confidence, limited beliefs, procrastination, self-sabotaging, it's imposter syndrome. I had never heard of imposter syndrome until I actually moved down. Believe it or not, I had never, ever heard of these things. Thank you so much for ordering. Yes, it's going to be coming out soon. Yes, thank you for ordering your book. Yes. And we were having this conversation about self-love, and you're here, like I said, in the book, I go detailed on that event. And it was in that moment that God was starting to show me that this is the thing that I'm calling you to. I am calling you to help your sisters, help my daughters. Because, see, I had already been on the journey of healing. I had already started that like years prior to coming to Wilmington. So that wasn't new. Like, I was already in the midst of it. So when I was meeting with them, I'm not saying I was like this total healed person, but I was definitely much more advanced and further along in my healing journey than a lot of people. And that's how things started. So the purpose is only going to come, is normally coming through disruption. So don't resist it, you all. So I'm just saying for some of you right now that might be there might be a relocation on the table. You might be saying, I feel like I need to get up and move. I might need to, start another job, go somewhere else, maybe in the relationship, whatever it may be, there might be a lot of disruption going on. And then some friendships, or maybe even starting some new friends. Because even it's not always the end of a like it's not always get rid of people or anything like that. The disruption can come just by you challenging yourself to do something new, to do something new. That's it right there. That is like, I want you to move in a different direction. I want you to go in a different direction because this direction is going to put you on your purpose road. This is going to put you on the road to purpose. And if I would have never said yes in that particular moment, when they offered the relocation, I'm telling you I wouldn't be here. I could have stayed in New York. I was actually considering going for nursing school because I had worked in the health field and I love helping people. I have been helping people in all different type of ways since getting myself. Even before that, as a young girl, my dad would come home. I would help his, just cater to him. My mom kind of raised me and my sister like that. My uncles, I would just always help. I'm a big helper. That actually has led to what it is that I'm doing now. So today, I just felt like I said, I'm going to come on for the rest of the week. Yes, be okay with for some of my authors out here. Some of you want to. Some of you struggle with telling people, "Hey, I'm going to come on every day and talk about my book." I'm wanting to inspire you. Talk about your book. That's why you wrote it. That's why I say authors and speakers are married together because the only way people will know about your book, you got to talk about the book. Be okay with that. Let this be an example. I'm going to talk about my book because somebody else might be challenged with that right now. I'm thinking like, oh, something's wrong. Like, or trying to figure out like, where is this disruption? Like, I feel like there's more to my life, but I'm not really sure. That's what God is wanting you to trust him. This is where he's asking you to trust him and he is ordering your steps. So in like I said in my book there's a lot of conversation, but I wanted to talk to you today in my subtitle. I called this title right here, Uprooted on Purpose for Purpose. I was uprooted on purpose for purpose. There was a desire before I even left New York. I wanted a certain type of lifestyle. I did not want to climb up 4 flights of stairs anymore. I wanted to live on the beach. I feel like God just every time I speak, he just would put me right where I want to be. I literally moved to Wilmington, North Carolina. If you do not know where that is the beach. I literally live either Carolina Beach, Wright Bills Beach, and it's another beach. But literally, like, I mean, no more than 15 minutes for me to get to a beach, and I can go there anytime I wanted to. I wanted to always be in a nice sunny area. I didn't want to be in the cold anymore. God granted me that. Didn't know that it was all tied to like I'm putting this desire in you, but it's also tied to your purpose. Didn't know that. And here it is today. The purpose is to help you start writing and sharing your story and growing your brand and building your business around your story. Okay. Yes, it's around your story. Believe it or not. So I want to invite you, and I'm telling you right now, your story is a message. So I want to invite you to my new masterclass that I have. I want to invite you to this new masterclass that I have, which is Write Your Signature Brand Story. This is the link that you can come in here. You're going to get clear of your message. What is your message to the world? See, a lot of times you're not making you're not making the profits is because you're not clear about your message. Okay. Number two, you got to get connected to your ideal reader, who you can how you can, start building that relationship with them, whether it should be a professional relationship, but start building those relationships. You got to get clear about who your ideal reader is, okay, so you can convert them and make them into paid customers and paid clients, okay. So in this masterclass, that's what you're going to get, and get clear of the coins. So I have like the 3C framework here. It is get clear about your message, get connected to your ideal reader, and get the coins. Yes, because one of the things I noticed that some women really struggle with, especially women of faith, and I'm not really understanding. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I never want to be like that. And just because, we're going to shift and change that mindset. But a lot of women struggle with even, saying how much money they want to make. And I find that to be very odd. Let me tell you why I find that to be very odd. I find it to be very odd because if you were going to look for a job, you wouldn't have a problem saying, I want to make this type of money. So why is there a problem with you saying, I want to make $50,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $100,000 months a year? Why, who has made you feel bad about making that type of revenue? So we're going to get clear about the coins, how much revenue you want to make, helping you to start getting clear about the pricing, your packaging, and so forth. But you can't get there without getting clear about your message and who the message is for. You can't get clear about it. I mean, you can't get the coins without getting clear with the message. And really, story, when I'm talking to you about story, it's really about messaging. What is the message that you want? For other people, when they read your books, when they sign up for your programs, well, I just stick with books for right now. When they read your book, what message is it that you want them to take away with it? How do you want them to feel? I'm already giving you some notes and some tips, so you need to be writing. Come back to this video, write it down, because when you talk about writing your story, it is not. This is why I have to say that I only work with certain type of people. There are a lot of people, like, as far as working in anthologies and doing this book coaching and, publishing and so forth, and they will help people just write the book, but they're not even clear about what the book and who the book is for, what the message is in it, what are the outcomes in there. These are the things that we're going to get into in my masterclass this Sunday, February 4th, excuse me, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are going to get you're going to get very clear and have some direction, because you need that direction, okay? You need that direction. And, I just, it just bothers me to see that a lot of women, especially women of faith, really struggling. And I just feel that we should not be the ones in that predicament. So when you come into the masterclass, you're going to be getting, what is your signature brand story? What is that? What is a signature brand story? How to identify your brand story that positions you as the go-to expert, okay? Because you definitely need to be positioned for that, okay? And then how to tell your story authentically and unapologetically, okay? And how to start building that bridge that connects you to your ideal reader and converts them into paying clients, okay, and paying customers. How to leverage your life experiences, your skills, and your expertise, that now you can turn them into more value assets. I talked about this yesterday. I actually might, it's probably below or somewhere in one of the posts that I had. I listed out 7 streams of income that I have been able to make while I was working. Some of it while I was working at Verizon Wireless, but it's all stem from my story. When I tell you our story is a seed that will multiply and give you more, I am living proof of it. So one of the streams of income, just going to list out some of them so you can write them down, was coaching. So I started doing one-on-one coaching. Then I started to do group coaching. Then the other one was I created my own online course called The Shift. Yep, I created my first course called The Shift from out of one of my stories that I wrote. I was a co-author in an anthology, and I actually titled it The Shift, leaving from Verizon Wireless. So the shift from employee to entrepreneurship. Okay. I've been able to create workshops that had trainings in them. So you can do workshops. I created paid trainings, paid workshops, okay, live and virtual events. Okay, I've done those as well. I created merchandise. So I have a couple of t-shirts that's on like a t-shirt line. I've done my journals, my affirmation cards. I've done planners. So these are some of the things that you could start now extracting and creating from your story. Doing paid speaking engagements. Yes, paid, paid, paid. Okay. Consultant. That's all from my story. But I had to have a clear message. I had to know exactly who I was going after. So in the masterclass, and it's right here on the screen, I want you to sign up. It's this Sunday, February 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sign up. Let's get your story, get you clear about your signature story. Okay. And this really works really well for some of you that I believe that this will be a really good thing for you, for some of you that need to be in an anthology. A lot of times people get stuck not being able to write their story. Why? Why can't they write the story? Because there's a lack of support. They don't know where to begin. They don't even know and I totally get that. Those are some of the things that people with lack of support, not really knowing where to begin, not clear about the outline, not clear about the results, not clear about the message, all of those things. And I believe that in an anthology, some of you will work really well in there because it's a group setting. So it's so many benefits with working in an anthology. And then you don't even have to write that much. It's only about 25 to 3,500. Let me tell you, that's around 5 to 6 pages. That's all that you have to write. But one of the things that I am very strategic about, when I tell you I don't want people that just write any stories, those are not for me because I'm helping you extract your signature story so you can start turning it into more. So I have a structure, a format that makes you look like within your own chapter, like you have wrote your own book, because I set it up so nicely for you where you're going to be able to extract and have so much just from that one chapter. So you're going to need to connect in order to find out how I actually do that. So once again, it's down here, write your signature brand story. And also do not forget to order your book today. Order your book today of girlseethenewYou.com, because this book is really good for those of you that might be trying to figure out what your purpose is and how to really step into that. How do I own this calling that I have? How do I own my experience and unapologetically? A lot of times people struggle with sharing their story because there's some fear and some shame around it of what people are going to think. Well, let me tell you something. People are going to think and they're going to say whatever it is that they want to say. You have to learn how to move past that. And that's some of the things that we show you in the anthology, in the book. Girl, see the new you. You'll be able to learn how we were able to start really trusting God. How, some of us, we had to be pushed into it. I love that one of my co-authors, her name is Latoya Rose, in there, and she talks about the pink slip. She talks about, what, she wouldn't let it go. So God had to give her a pink slip. And that's how she was able to come out of the workforce and start doing what it is that God has called her to do. So like I said, I want to invite you to this opportunity to come and work with me and in the master class, listen, or the anthology. I do have an anthology that's going to be coming up, but I don't want to talk about that just yet, but just letting you know. Okay, so I want you, as you can see on the screen, this is the master class. Be unapologetic and write your signature brand story masterclass with me this Sunday. I'm going to teach you my 5 strategic steps that I use to write and share my story and grow my brand and build my coaching and consulting business. Now, I would have never thought that that would have been the life for me, but this is what God had. So it's all for a purpose. So that disruption is for purpose. And there's profits in the pain. There's profits in the purpose. All right. So otherwise than that, I'll talk to you all later. I gotta go, y'all. It's wow, I've been here for a minute. I didn't even realize how long I've been here. All right. I will talk to you all later. Have a great day. Bye.